What is going on, everyone? My name is Andy and welcome to another FPL video, and today we're talking Game Week 5. It's a preview weekly video where I take you through the main talking points coming up for this next game week, as well as a look at my team, transfer options, captaincy and things like that. This video revolves a lot around my team in particular because a lot of people have been asking me about it. Wildcard, why I am, why I'm not. So I'm going to go through those thoughts, take a look at my team and who I definitely think needs to get rid of and who I think I can keep. Before we jump into today's video, I wanted to talk about our sponsors, Forza Football. This is a really cool free app which has got a ton of football info, and as an FPL manager I found super useful for tracking the Premier League teams. You can also track other teams from around the world as well. One of the great things is the push notification system, so that'll send alerts for things like red cards, goals, and the lineup straight to your phone, so you don't have to go trawling through social media to find that, which is great if you're out and about on the weekends like I am quite a lot. And if you go into the app, you can also check out things like yellow cards, substitutions, and the all-important FPL question, who got the assist? But probably my favourite part's the media section. So the app will try and find a clip of what's just happened, maybe a red card or goal online. And so far for all the Premier League matches I've tracked, it has found that. You can just click into that, it'll take you straight to the video, you press play, and then you enjoy. You find out whether that FPL player was lucky or not to get points. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it can be frustrating, but overall I really love that feature. If you want to check out the app, click the link in the description below and let me know what you think. Now time for the more interesting part, the preview, and of course you usually try and talk about the general talking points. People ask me a lot of questions on Twitter or let me know what they thought the main talking points were, and a lot of them tie in and around wildcard choices. So I'm probably going to talk about my team a little bit more than usual. Starting off with a wildcard, why have I not wildcarded yet? A lot of people tweeted me saying that I should have done it now, my team's in an absolute state. So I'll go through the team and who I think absolutely has to go and maybe who could stay a bit longer. Obviously I've missed out on a few price raises now, or price changes. So Peltier has gone down in price, gone down to 3.9 million. Players like Madison, who I would bring in probably on a wild card, have gone up in price. So I've missed out on a bit of price changes, but I don't think that's a reason not to wild card now. Yes, I've not been making changes all week, or even 2 weeks over the international break. But I have been thinking about it, I've put a team together and stuff like that. So I've got an idea of what I would do. It's not like it would be a mad rush in the last couple of days. So I don't think it's the end of the world to wildcard now. But let's look through the team. Who has to go? So goalkeeper-wise, yes, I would probably make changes, but I don't think it's the end of the world. Fabianski against Everton is okay for save points potentially, even if he's not going to get a clean sheet. I think I'd probably get a Wolves defender in somewhere, maybe Patricio or Bolly in defence instead of putting the goalkeeper in, and maybe look at someone like Joe Hart, because Burnley tend to do well for clean sheets and stuff, no matter who's in goal. But they've not started off the season very well, so I don't know if I want to put them in just yet, but they're out of Europa League now, so that could help. But then, yeah, looking through the team, who definitely has to go? So Mendy, definitely not. Robertson, fixture-wise, not great. But he's performed so well, and I got him at 6 million, and Southampton at home is in the next two fixtures, so I'm not super eager to get rid of him. But if I wildcard, I probably would. Because I think once you start putting a wildcard team together, especially when you've missed a few price rises, there's not too much money to be had when you want the likes of Hazard and players like that. So Robertson will probably have to go, but I don't know if he's an absolute must-go. Bailly, definitely. I thought there's a chance he might get back into the team to redeem himself last week. He didn't. He's got to go. There's too much rotation possibility. Not even rotation. There's just the chance he doesn't get back into the team. So Bailly, definitely got to go. Mkhitaryan, arguably you could say yes, he's got to go. I don't know if he's going to play against Newcastle. He's had a bit of a rest over the international break, so I don't think he could play one of the games. And obviously Emery looks like he doesn't quite know what his first 11 is, or best first 11. So Mkhitaryan could come back into the team and he could make another change somewhere else. So does he absolutely have to go? No. Would it be nice to get rid of him for someone I think is definitely going to play? Yes. So maybe that's 1.5 players. Walcott's going to depend on injury. I still don't buy that he was an awful pick. I think with the fixtures, it was a good pick for him. Obviously a bit unlucky that he got injured. West Ham at home I think is a good fixture. I do think they'll score against West Ham. Everton, obviously, that is. So if he is past fit, then I think I'm okay to keep him. They got Fulham at home, I believe, in a couple of weeks as well, after Arsenal. So not a huge push to get rid of him. But again, would be nice to change him, I think, if I was on a wild card. But I would probably go with Richarlison and get him in ready for the next few game weeks when he's back. So again, like Mkhitaryan, if he's fit, I don't think he's a desperate to go, but a possibility like a 0.5. So maybe we're up to 2 players now. And then Zaha's very similar boat. I think Zaha's got great fixtures, scored 2 in 3 games. Yes, he's a bit more expensive than the likes of Mitrovic and Wilson, but he's got good fixtures. Got a bit unlucky with yellow cards maybe. Again, if he's fit, I definitely want to keep him, or at least I don't think he absolutely has to go. So if he's fit, then maybe there's less chance for needing to wildcard. If he's not, then again, it pushes me to the wildcard. And then Josh King is another one that stands out because he's not playing very well in an FPL sense. He's coming wide quite a lot for Bournemouth. When you check out the stats between him and Wilson, there's just no comparison. Wilson absolutely smashes it. So again, if I'm on a wildcard, for sure I get rid of him. Does he absolutely have to go with Leicester at home and on penalties? Maybe not. But again, him, Mkhitaryan and Walcott kind of add up to, I'd almost definitely get rid of him on a wildcard. So there's probably 2.5, 3 players that definitely need to go. Peltier, of course, if I'm on a wildcard, I switch him out for someone that's going to play. I'm not likely to play him too much. Same with Stevens. They're going to be on my bench. And hopefully they don't have to come on. And Salah and Mane, so we're talking about Liverpool fixtures. Yes, the next 4 aren't great, but when they play those teams, the kind of likes of Man City, Chelsea, and Spurs, they're not like Man United. They're not going to sit back for the most part. They're going to attack, and Liverpool can counter-attack. And we've seen Salah score against all of those teams last season. And Mane's in pretty good form as well. Yes, his stats are probably going to regress at some point. We don't know when for sure, but over the course of the season, at some point they'll probably average out, and his conversion will come down. But when you look at it in smaller chunks, the next 2 games they've got Spurs, but then they've got Southampton at home, so that's a nice fixture there. And there's nothing to say that either of them can't score against Spurs. So next 2 fixtures okay. Then it's City and Chelsea, which is a bit tougher. And they've got a really nice run of fixtures. So again, if I was on a wildcard, I'd get rid of Mane, I think, for someone like David Silva or Hazard, better fixtures. In David Silva's case, a little bit cheaper as well. I don't think they absolutely have to go, especially not Salah. There's no way I'm getting rid of him. Captain against Southampton, almost certainly. And long term, I'm going to want him in my team. So when I look at the first 11, I don't think there's loads of players that have to go. Of course, if I wildcarded, I have pretty much a completely different team, apart from the likes of Aguero, Salah, and Mendy. Possibly everyone else could be on the chopping block. But that doesn't mean you have to wildcard, because I could do that every week. I could wildcard now, and then game week 6, game week 7, game week 8. Of course, every week there's a different team that I would like, because there's a player that's got the absolute best fixture I don't have, or someone's just come into a run of form. But that's FPL, that happens. You can't necessarily have the best 11 players every week. So, fully agree, not to bang on about this wildcard too much longer, fully agree I could definitely make changes. And if the likes of Walcott and Zaha are not going to be fit, and I look at the fact that I've got Bailly, Mkhitaryan and King who all need to go, I'm probably going to hit the button. I'm going to hit it late. I don't care that I've missed out on price raises. But if those 2 are past fit, then how do I get Alonso is one of the questions. Mkhitaryan out, Bailly out for a hit. Alonso comes in. It's a hit that I should have taken a couple of weeks ago. And I downgrade Mkhitaryan to someone around the 5.5 million mark. So Fraser for Bournemouth would have been my number 1 target, but he might have a knock now, so I've got to wait and see what happens in the press conferences with him. So I'm looking at a punt like someone like Damari Gray, 5.5 million, good fixtures for Leicester. Obviously not Maddison, but the stats aren't too far off. I think he's played pretty well. I remember watching him against Man United, and he caused some problems down that left side. So still a bit raw maybe. But he's got enough pace and he's skillful enough, I think, that he can get past defenders and cause them issues and get into the box and hopefully get goals and assists. It's a bit of a risk, I know, but could bring someone like that in instead of Fraser or Jeff Hendrick at Burnley playing as the number 10. They've got Wolves away and Bournemouth at home, so in the next 2, so could be a okay option, but granted, he's not going to get double-figure hauls every week. But that's a way that I could fund Alonso. And then suddenly I've got the premium back 3 that everyone's looking at. I've got Salah and Mane. Yes, okay, you might not want to double up over these 4 fixtures, but when they play Southampton at home, I'll be fine owning both of them. Then I can maybe look at moving one on. And then Walcott against West Ham, I think that's okay. And King is probably the one that I want to get rid of, because there's other cheap strikers performing better. But he's at home, he's got penalties. He can maybe wait for another week. And then if something big happens where some of my superstars like Aguero or whatever get injured, or there's a bit of rotation, or there's someone else that I want to bring in, then maybe I'll hit the button. So not ruling it out. Apologies that I can't say for definite whether I will or won't. But I think with FPL you've got to adapt to the news, and there's still some news to wait on, and I'll make the decision then. Obviously talking about Liverpool fixtures, I've already kind of done that. Best captain this week, I think you've got to look at Hazard against Cardiff. Obviously I don't own him. I think Hazard's looked pretty good. I still think the amount of shots he's having in the box and stuff is quite low. And when you watch him play, he looks more for the assist than the shot most of the time. He doesn't have that killer instinct, I don't think. Obviously a great player, but when it comes to FPL, is he going to get those goals? But he did score a couple over the international break, so maybe he's got a bit of form there. And obviously he's on penalties as well, which is really nice. But I can't look past Aguero this week. I think Cardiff and Fulham, both good fixtures at home. The way Fulham are playing, they're kind of playing very attacking and not doing too well defensively. Whereas I think Cardiff, although Warnock's come out and said we're not going to be able to sit back and defend, we should just go and attack and hope for the best. I still think they're going to put up more of a fight than Fulham will. So obviously Fulham doing really well in the attacking sense, but already conceded 9 goals. So for me, just Man City a better team overall, better attacking wise. Didn't do too well against Wolves, but to be fair, Wolves have done really well defensively this year so far in the opening 4 games. So I think Aguero is the number 1 captain, but definitely got to look at Hazard just behind as an option. So if you've got him, you could go ultimate differential and go for Hazard. Aguero is now the most owned player in FPL, so a lot of people are going to captain him. So it's a little bit of a risk not to go with him if you think he's going to do well. If he does blank, or if he does only get 1 goal and Hazard gets double figure haul, then you could be seeing a really, really nice green arrow. So I can see why Hazard owners will be considering it. Definitely Aguero for me. No Mo Salah or Mo Salah. I've kind of already spoken about it quite a bit. For me, I'm going to want to captain him against Southampton, and long term, I'm going to want him. So, yes, you could get rid of him for these 4 fixtures for sure. You could bring in someone like Hazard or David Silva, who've got better fixtures, and maybe they'd outscore him, and then you could bring him back in. Absolutely, that's a fair enough plan. If you want to go for the what you could see as like a higher seed and the hope that Salah doesn't do anything over these 4 game weeks, and that's fine. But I think there's potential for points in these 4 game weeks, and beyond that, I'm going to want to own him. And right now, yes, I could spread the cash around a little bit more, but I don't think it does enough for me to warrant not having him. And it's not even a fear thing with Salah, it's just I think he's going to do really well. So even in these tough fixtures, I'm going to keep him. And like I said earlier, got that Southampton game, which I want to captain him for. And someone asked me about Walcott replacement, so if he is out, if he's not, you've got obviously West Ham at home and Fulham at home in the next 3. I think that's pretty good, and you could wait until after Arsenal to bring Richarlison back in against Fulham. Lingard is an outside bet. The last 2 game weeks, Man United are kind of topping creativity and shot charts, and actually doing pretty well from a stats point of view, and they did look pretty good in the last game. Lingard especially, and against Spurs when we got battered, he looked pretty good in that game too. Watford away and Wolves at home, so 2 teams that maybe people thought not going to struggle, but maybe not do as well as they are, so they could be tough fixtures. But I think Lingard's an outside bet, and Maddison's the one that I like. Everything's kind of going through him. Bournemouth away and Huddersfield at home are good fixtures, so he's probably my number 1 pick. Behind Pedro, Cardiff at home, West Ham away, they're 2 good fixtures, but we saw him not start the last game, and yes, he scored and came on, but is he going to do that every time? Not so sure. So for me, Maddison's the best pick. Lingard, if you want a bit of an outside punt, and Pedro, if you think he'll start, has to be a good option. I think he's done so well this season, and gets attacking returns more often than not when he does play. So if you're confident he's going to start those 2 games, maybe Sarri will move to Hazard in the centre and Willian and Pedro flanking, which I think will be really good for Chelsea. Then he could be a great option. But he's 6.8 million now, so you have to go up a little bit in price, but same price as Lingard. So the way that this season's gone so far, I could see why people will go Pedro instead. And then keep or sell Mkhitaryan. So again, I've kind of said it, we don't know if he's going to start or not. I think if you've got nothing else pressing to do and you've got a player in mind, you want to bring in the likes of Maddison or Pedro or someone like that, then yeah, you can make the switch. But I think a lot of the time, if you've got a good bench player, you can take the risk that he's going to start that game, maybe save a transfer, going with 2 transfers in the next week, and then rethink then. If he starts, maybe you keep him. If he doesn't, then you know that he has to go, and you've got 2 transfers to play around with your funds and stuff. So I'll leave it there for those preview questions. I know obviously a lot of people have other questions, so leave them in the comments below. Either I or a lot of the community will get back to you. And again, apologies that I can't absolutely say for certain whether I'm going to wildcard, but hopefully that's giving you some insight into my thought process this week and kind of why I'm thinking of not or actually going and hitting the button for it. So that is it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts on everything I said. Do I absolutely need to wildcard, or can I get away with just a couple of transfers? Always happy to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Make sure you download the Forza Football app to try it out. It's completely free. Link in the description below. Let me know what you think about it. Subscribe if you're new around here. That let you know when my next video is going live if you hit that bell. And also when I'm streaming, which will be 9:30 PM UK time. On Thursday this week. So if you're watching it on Wednesday night, it'll be tomorrow. If you're not, obviously you know then to tune in and we'll answer all your questions. Obviously a lot of stuff to go through before Game Week 5, and maybe I'll be wildcard at that point. I just don't know at this stage. I'll leave it there. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Cheers all.